guys, Brian Stevens here with the National Real Estate Post. Listen, if you've had Listing Booster before, or if you've never had Listing Booster, it's a good time to get it. It's been completely re-engineered, and it is the perfect enticement for real estate agents to start working with you. Why? Because it's going to give them and you a marketing edge for more purchase market business. And 2022 is going to be defined by, that's right, purchase market business. If you want to learn more about it, guys, I'm telling you, this product kicks butt. Click this banner right over there. So inflation sucks, and everybody knows it, and it's up like never before. Now, the Labor Department said Tuesday that its Producer Price Index, which measures inflation before it reaches consumers, rose 0.8% in November after a 0.6% monthly gain in October. It was the highest monthly reading in 4 months. Okay, maybe not ever, but it's really up because we're going from already high inflationary numbers. Food prices, which had fallen 0.3% in October, jumped 1.2% in November. Energy prices rose 2.6% after a 5.3% rise in October. The 12-month increase in wholesale inflation set a new record, surpassing the old record for 12-month increases of 8.6% set in both September and October. The records on wholesale price go back to 2010. It's kind of confusing, I understand this, but if you really want to know what inflation looks like, go try to buy a car right now. It's crazy. Well, actually, I'm not kidding. But here's a graph to help illustrate what the point is. Now, this graph is inflation according to Fred, the Federal Reserve Board of St. Louis. And it goes back to 1945. And as you can see, it goes only one way, and that's up. But here's the kicker. Let's take a closer and more recent look at inflation. Now, this graph, once we tighten it up, shows inflation from about 2018 to right now. Now, see that gray area in the middle, that vertical bar that goes up and down in the middle? That's both a recession and the outbreak of COVID. Now, look at what happens to inflation post-COVID. That's right, it goes through the roof. Why does inflation go through the roof? Well, it's because the Treasury decided that it would be a good idea to just start printing money and giving people money for doing nothing. That's had a decided impact on inflation. And that's the uptick that you're looking at after the recession. In short, inflation was an issue prior to COVID, but it's become a real problem since COVID. And as I said, the best way for anyone to fight inflation is to lower their monthly housing expense. And the best way to do that is to get a refinance. And that's where you kids come in. Because right now, the 30-year fixed rate average is still only at 3.10% at 0.7% cost. Seriously, I'd put together a marketing campaign right now, and it'd be something like, start the new year off right with a new loan. It's called the Inflation Buster. Now, you think some people are going to bite on this thing? Well, inflation is an issue that people are talking about right now. The media is writing about it, and nobody likes it. So yeah, I think people are going to bite. But here's the whole thing. You'll never know unless you try. All right, so I need to explain this up front here. This is kind of a little sensitive subject.
It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Redlining. Redlining is a discriminatory practice that puts services, financial and otherwise, out of the reach for residents of certain areas based on race or ethnicity. Redlining in housing is keeping groups of a specific ethnicity in specific sectors or areas of a community. And as you know, redlining is truly an abhorrent practice, and we as a society should have absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever, period, end of story. Get it? Now, get this, and what I see is a remarkably condescending tone from Redfin. They're asking the entire real estate community to drop crime data in marketing on homes that they've got listed. Now, it's my understanding that most real estate brokers don't push crime data, so up yours, Redfin. You don't have the moral high ground on this one, but it gets worse. Redfin says real estate brokers need to quit using crime statistics because the real estate community has a history of redlining. Think about that for a second. Maybe the real estate community does, and maybe they don't. I don't know, I haven't looked at it. But what I do know is that Redfin is making a connection between crime and communities of color. Don't use crime stats because the result is redlining? Because here's my thinking. I think anybody who wants to buy a house anywhere, anytime, especially somebody who's got children, regardless of their ethnicity, their gender, or anything else whatsoever, would like to know, hell, deserve to know if they're buying a home in an area that has higher than normal crime rates. And I don't think it's safe or even responsible and should be legal for Redfin to draw a line between crime and redlining, or crime and communities of color, because frankly, that's exactly what they're doing here. So what are your thoughts? Did I overstep this issue, or are you with me on this one? We're just leave it alone. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below, and make sure you share this show with other real estate agents, and let's find out what they think about Redfin and what they just came out and said.